Welcome, warrior. Thank you for joining us this evening. 35 days until the election, the most important election of our lifetime, of our lives. I want to keep reiterating that. I want to jump on as much as I can and do lives with you and get your thoughts on a couple of things because I think it is so important right now. Everything is on edge, but you well know that. But we have to start out with I've been getting today alone and yesterday many complaints that you are subscribed to the channel and then you're finding out you're not subscribed. So please check. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. It does not cost you anything. And we want to get into the algorithms on YouTube and be suggested videos and keep spreading the message of the warriors. That also goes for our newsletter, which you can sign up for on our website, lynswarriors.org. We are hearing people that have been subscribed are not receiving the newsletters. I'm showing they're subscribed and they're not receiving anything. It's not in their junk and spam, so don't even suggest that. So please check out and make sure I'm checking on my end. But if you are not subscribed to our newsletter, a new one is going out this week. Please do that. Again, lynswarriors.org. Scroll down. It says e-newsletter. It can't be any simpler for you. Sign up. We have to take a breath, stay in our lanes, and get the information out there. Because I'm still outraged about that performance I saw the other night, or was it yesterday? I don't even know anymore. That performance by that woman, I don't want to name names, who for the first time in, close to 4 years, mentioned the word fentanyl. Mentioned the word fentanyl. So I want to welcome Bad Biz. Yes, Lionel does have to change his hats, and he is my producer, and he is sitting nearby in the event that the YouTube explodes on me and I need some assistance. Bag Biz, I want to thank you. I'm just going to leave it at that. You are a wonderful, wonderful warrior, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts at the warriors. And I'll leave it at that for now. And Hillbilly Evening Warriors, Rhonda says loyal watchers rule. Absolutely. Lori Lewis. There's Lori. Let me click on Lori. Thank you, Lori. Thank you. Thank you. Lollipop Eclipse. Lollipop Eclipse. I'm sorry. Aloha. You know, it's late here already for me. We get up at 3 or 4 in this household and we just jump at it. I don't think I took a breath today. I don't even remember a little too much information. I don't remember going into the bathroom at all during the day. We just go from one thing to the next and we keep going around here. Faye, Lynn, you're the first one who called her out for the Tiffany necklace. Well, Faye, I don't know if I'm the first one, and I usually try not to go for low-hanging fruit, as I call it, but I am so irate about this border and about this criminality and about what we know, what is going on with the sex trafficking, the labor trafficking, the human smuggling, the fentanyl, and other illicit drugs just coming across this border, and this woman is standing there. Now, maybe it's a faux Tiffany necklace. It looked real to me. I did my little investigative work, everybody. How dare she? How dare she? Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Lori. My friend is a survivor. I told her to contact you. Yes, I'll do whatever I can do to help. Please give out always my email, lynn@lynswarriors.org, and we'll see what we can do to assist. Linda says, hiya, Lynn. Love from UK. Love it. It's late there in the UK. Thank you for tuning in. But I can't keep my mouth shut anymore. We have over 500,000 kids now missing. I don't care what they said in the cable, mainstream news, mainstream, whatever it is, cable news, because, I do have to keep these things on in the background during the day to see what everybody's saying so I can comment on things. I like to hear things for myself or read things for myself and not just take somebody's word for it. And for them walking it back at the White House press conference that the numbers are really not that. It's been going on for years. This is cumulative, in one ear, out the other. It's happening. If we know about 500,000 plus of these unaccompanied minors, it could be 1 million. We don't really know. And law enforcement reports to me, and it is not their fault, they can't keep track. They don't know. And that goes to the criminal NGOs making millions upon millions. It goes from Catholic charities to Jewish organizations and everybody in between, getting paid a lot of money from our government, our taxes, to run these processing, vetting, centers, I guess we can call them, for these unaccompanied minors, and they're just letting carloads go, 10, sometimes 20 at a time in a truck with no vetting, no anything. These kids are never to be found again for the most part. We know a large percentage are now in sex trafficking, labor trafficking, and who knows what. But I do, with all this negativity, and it's negative. Hi, Laura. There's a lot of good, and we have to remember. I don't know if any of you live in the Helene areas, states. CR gifted 5 Lynn's Warriors memberships. Thank you, because that is so wonderful. That is what we need for people to learn about us and hear these facts. I want to point out how lucky we are that, and some of you may be in this area, but from what I hear, there's no internet connection, so you're probably not here, of the Carolinas and Texas and Florida and Georgia, and the complete devastation. When you look at something like that, nothing else matters, right? Like, we're very lucky, just have a roof over our head. We eat food every day, and we have our health, hopefully. Lori Lewis, thank you. The woman that trafficked her was shaking hands with Joe Biden. Lori, I'll be investigating. I'll get to the bottom of this, and I will be investigating. Now, somebody did leave me. I'm sidetracking everybody. Stay with me. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Somebody did send me they sent me an open tweet, I believe, today, saying they wanted to talk to me, but we do everything privately. I don't know if that's the same person who did that. They said they were new to Twitter. If that is the person, Lori, please direct them to email me. Again, lynn@lynswarriors.org. We have to keep talking about this border. We have to keep talking about it until we can't stop. What I want to point out, when I looked at that devastation from Helene, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, because this is complete tragedy. That's why we can't complain about anything. I want to remind everybody, our kids are watching all of this, even if you don't think so. They are taking it all in. They are hearing the adults, in this election season arguing or talking, or they're watching something on their phones or in the media about all of the chaos and just downright hatred. It seems like hatred, right, is going on in our country. And then you look at these images the kids will see of people's homes just washed away. I don't even know the number of missing. I heard it was 1,000 this morning, but I've been kind of in New York City all day. I don't have any updates. The last I saw, 91 people reported dead. We know the numbers are probably higher, but I wanted to say that earlier today, I did put out a tweet about Goya Foods, and this goes to the society we live in today. And I put out a tweet about Goya Foods. That's all I did. That they are always one of the first on the scene of disasters in our country. They will load up those trucks with pallets of food and they get to the destination. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Lori Lewis, thank you. I want to hear more about that, Laura. My sister, an LVN, is employed by a facility of unaccompanied minors. I know, everybody, I'm jumping around, but that's what we do on the lives. I want to make sure I acknowledge before the comments go by. But Goya, so wonderful organization, family owned. And you know what? The minute I posted that, I lost all these followers. Now, could it be because I put Goya? Goya, family owned, American company, followers of Christ, supporters of President Trump. I've had it happen to me before. Goya has been nothing but miraculous for the Warriors. When I need food to distribute, they are there to give us food to distribute. And they are a wonderful, if we have more companies like Goya in the United States, we could do so much more. And there's also, we have to mention Samaritan's Purse, Franklin Graham. I mean, they also are the first ones, always, always, always at the site of a disaster. So I was looking at this, and they do wonderful distribution. They're there with the water and the gas and the food and the clothes and the volunteers. Where's our government? Did they show up today? I'm not even sure. Again, I've been working, doing our warriors work. So I haven't uh, seen any of this. I did see that President Trump was there. Yes, I do call him President Trump. I'll just leave it at that. And he was bringing in supplies and gas and getting Elon Musk. They were discussing the Starlink, all these wonderful things. I ask again, where is our government? So all of this is going on, and the kids are watching. Perhaps I don't even know. Was that a true image of Walls at the game yesterday with his middle finger? That's how skeptical I am, because working with tech people and AI, I think it was real though. How disturbing and disgusting is that? That somebody who is running for vice president would stick his middle finger up, and the kids are all watching football, right? This is not appropriate. I hope that's a learning point, and I hope people, if you have any teens in your house or even 8 and 9-year-olds, you talk about that, because this behavior has become so normalized and horrific that we don't want the kids to think this is the way you act. You run around and hold your middle finger up, right, everybody? Whew, there's that. And then we have so the kids are seeing the middle finger. The kids are seeing these horrific storms, homes washed away. Wherever there is a tragedy like this and disruption, there's also always human trafficking. It happens while nobody's watching anything. More kids are trafficked, put through. It happens. It also happens that people become so devastated and they have no money, no home. They will do anything to survive. They will sell their kids. I know it's disgusting and horrible. Familial trafficking. Listen, a large percentage of all children trafficked for sex and labor, the figures are close to, it's not that, stranger danger we always talk about. Yes, that does happen, but it is somebody close to them in their family unit, family friend, neighbor, and it accounts, we're heading towards 70%. So if we know all these horrible facts, why it's not getting any better? And on top of it, the kids are probably hearing about all of our ports on the East Coast, all the way down, that are most likely, let's see, in New York City right now, it's heading on to, let's see, 8:30. By midnight, 12:01, they shut down. So today there was a rush at markets. There was a rush at the gas tanks for people to stock up. I heard that one day of strike equals 3 days of delay for goods. Before you know it, the holidays are here. They're already putting that out, that goods and services. So, you know, Phoenix, I'm in the recording studio tonight listening to the show in the background. I like that. Thank you. And Faye says they're bringing in slaves. You know what? Human trafficking is human slavery. And we have more slavery today in the United States than any other time in history. And that is what that woman in the $62,000 Tiffany necklace, who stood before us and uttered the word fentanyl for the first time, should be talking about, right? I saw that necklace. I know it's a family show and I don't like violence. I watched that, and I'm stuck on that piece of propaganda that we all saw, because I do work for the border. I talk about the border. I get my information from people working on the border. And I was kind of staring at that necklace while she was talking, because I wanted to take in all her words. Lies, perhaps. Not perhaps, lies. I heard a lot of lies. And I thought, that looks like the Tiffany chain link necklace. And then I kind of forgot about it until the next day when I saw online people were commenting. She should not be showing up. Have your necklace. Don't show up to talk about the border with a necklace like that. I wouldn't wear any kind of anything. I mean, of course, I'm sitting here wearing my costume necklace, but I'm not wearing Tiffany's necklaces and things of that nature. It's disgusting, and none of us should accept it. Shipping containers filled with, yes, A very common, and that's from Turtle Bean, very common trafficking is these shipping containers. That is how, I don't know, where are these 500,000 kids? They perhaps could be in shipping containers. It is a very common way to traffic kids out of the country. Out, not in, out of the country. Hillary Clinton would have been more self-aware. Kamala has no clue. Thank you, Faye. I don't know. Aren't you all just kind of tired of Hillary Clinton? She kind of did her thing. She's been around, it seems like, my entire life. I'll give her credit for being around almost my entire life, but I think it's time for her to step aside. I think it's time for a lot of them to step aside. I am talking about Republicans and Democrats, because the bottom line is they are not getting this work done. We talk about the border, and that reminds me, I want to go over this again. That border bill that they're all talking about, that President Trump supposedly called his friends. Again, they're giving him power, right? And that bill was so horrible. And the nerve of any Republicans that were signing on to that, because there were some, did nothing to help this invasion upon America. It's strictly, let me bottom line it. I got to keep saying it, because this is the same argument we keep hearing, is that it hired more border agents simply to process, more money for the NGOs to just pass the kids through, just didn't do anything to stop it. Nothing about the fentanyl. Really, nothing. So we want to, give thanks for the good men and women working on the border and those communities that had to endure this. But that woman going and walking in front of the Donald Trump wall, I don't even know why she did it. Why didn't she just let it be? Why? Are Americans that dumb that they'll look at that and think, this woman's going to do something? Why aren't we 24/7 talking about, and some are, her policy work? I guess because there is none over the last couple of years, right? Wasn't she kind of missing? For months, I remember thinking, where is Kamala Harris? She's kind of missing in action. And then something popped up. She was at her dining table. She had a luncheon because there were rumors coming out. Her employee, now this is a few years ago, her employees were all quitting on her. She doesn't show up. She's hard to deal with. She doesn't study. She doesn't know the issues. And then all of a sudden, where she lives at the Naval Observatory, there was, we're having a girls' lunch with all my gals. Again, another photo op. I just saw a picture. I don't know if it's true. I have to investigate, where she had the things in her ears. The phone was on the desk. It wasn't plugged in. I mean, unless she took it out because she was not on the phone at that point, but I don't know why you'd unplug it. Why don't you take those out of your ears? I don't know. There's Carla, the cooking CEO. Thank you. Becoming a YouTube member. And I urge all of you, because you will get videos first. I'm backlogged. One just went up. The members got it first a couple of hours ago. There's a great interview I did this morning. And this is where I need all of you to help me. Beginning tomorrow, which is October 1st, there is a book coming out called Vegas Concierge. And I just interviewed the author, Brian Joseph. And he is an investigative journalist. Primarily, he was based in California. He lives in Las Vegas now. And he was digging in 2013 and 14. He had a fellowship at Berkeley, and he was digging into the whole group homes foster care system. So I'll be doing a program with him on that, fast forward 10 years, because that equals exploitation. That is another government corruption form of re-traumatizing, re-victimizing, re-trafficking children. We know this because people who have come through the system, they're in the system, they tell us this, right? That's why a lot of kids run away. They come from a vulnerable background. They may not have a parent, a drug-addled parent, an alcoholic parent, no parent. They run away. If they are underage, under 18, the government will put them in one of these foster homes, youth things, whatever they're called these days. And they report to us at the Warriors, they'd rather be on the streets than that because they are trafficked. They are urged now, these organized crime rings even, that has to be blown up, that whole youth foster care system. But in the meantime, Brian Joseph wrote this book. I'll put a link in the body of this video, Vegas Concierge. And it is about the corruption between the justice system, hip hop music. How timely is this with Sean Combs, aka Diddy? But all of you should know by now, I refuse to call him Diddy, so I always say Sean Combs, aka Diddy. How timely is it that this investigation this book is based on started 10 years ago? And our good friend and warrior and sex trafficking survivor, Angela Williams, and you can find that interview. We just did that a couple of days ago, right here on the channel. She's so brave. You know, she was trafficked for 15 years on the Las Vegas Strip. And she got away. She finally got away. And a common scenario is the trafficker / boyfriend showed up, found out where she was living, holding a bunch of flowers. And I put a warning out because if anybody's listening, I don't want you to get, they use that word triggered a lot. I don't want you to get upset, but this is reality, what I'm about to say. Showed up with a bunch of flowers because they have these trauma bonds. Even if somebody mistreats them, traffics them, they are still attached to that person. Carla, the cooking CEO, thank you very much, gifting 10 Lynn's Warriors memberships. Beautiful. Thank you. Numbers are building. Thank you, everybody. The trafficker showed up / boyfriend at the door with the flowers and then proceeded, once he got in the door, to beat her with a metal pipe. So I'm going to leave it at that because I want you all to, we've actually done 2 interviews, one a couple of months ago and one just the other day, because I wanted to focus on how great her life is today, how she has become this brave voice that wants to speak up for girls and women and men and boys too, about what she's been through, how you can get out of it, resources available. We want to direct you. One of our goals at the Warriors, there are resources. Scarce as they may be, there are places you can contact for information in your area. So this book, Vegas Concierge, and the website is vegasconciergebook.com. Again, I'll put it all in the body of the video, has a resource tab, and it's broken down state by state and national. We advise you, though, please, if anybody's in an emergency situation, we have a lot of rethinking we've done on the trafficking. Some of us really working behind the scenes. We urge you to call 911 or advise immediately. And then also go to, or advise to go to a local hospital, an emergency room. They are open 24/7, 365, and you'll be safe there. We don't want you hanging around calling hotline numbers where people may not answer, tell you they'll get back to you tomorrow, tell you we're understaffed, they don't know. It's immediacy, right? And that's what we want you to do. But this book is so realistic. It is truth. It is facts. Angela was a part of the book, right? Because we can't talk about trafficking unless we listen to the survivor, their voices, and believe them. Yes, and she survived for you. Yes. Cord says, hello, everybody. And Murph says, thank you, Carla. Well, CR says, so good she got out of that horrific situation. Well, she got out of it after she was beaten to a pulp and in an emergency room She fought this guy. I don't know how she did it. Ran out. Everything was broken. Today, she's part of 3 documentaries, more initiatives, and things happening in the media world, which Vegas Concierge, this new book, is part of. It is the reality, right? With the focus on victims and survivors. And we know from talking to them, Brian and I were talking today, they don't want to be identified, these people, as victims, but they are truly victims of a crime. So we have to refer to people like that. And then survivors also. Warrior is the word. Even before I met Angela, she called herself a warrior. And then meeting her, and we're the warriors, it's a perfect fit. But I'm urging all of you to purchase a copy of that book, and purchase a copy, if possible, for a friend or a family member. If not, purchase it for yourself and then pay it forward, because this is a realistic investigation in how easily people are swayed into this, glamour and glitz, a hip hop. It can be the film world. It can be other music world, all of this, right? And remember, if it seems too good to be true, none of these people care about you if they're offering you a free plane ride, a free wardrobe, a free party, rub elbows with celebrities and influencers. You have to stress, especially to our kids and young people, this can only lead to bad. So I want everybody, with the holidays coming up, to think about this as a gift. We have enough of everything else. Let's get back, because part of our initiatives also are hardcover books, an actual book. I'm going back. Kim says in New Hampshire, Human Health and Services have abused hundreds of children. Yes, we know all this. I just want to see. CR says she was at a fundraiser. I guess that's Kamala. I don't even want to say her name anymore. She is soulless. Well, let's make a pact here at the Warriors. Let's not mention her name anymore, because it's too sickening for us. It's really we just can't mention her name anymore. But I want to urge all of you, while all of this, let's get back to, we have things we have to focus on. We have, you cannot have too many books. Yep, absolutely. Gifts from the Warriors are always books at holiday time. Vegas Concierge, I want you to get a realistic look at what this sex trafficking in America is. Remember, we focus on America. And, it does, we know it's a global problem, right? Our focus has always been on America. And Janice says, what is it with tacos? I'm not even addressing that. I don't know. People with tacos, people with spices, people with middle fingers, all of that. Let us focus on the kids. Make sure we hug them every day. Make sure we talk to them open and honestly. Brian, the author of Vegas Concierge, I said, well, what would you suggest, Brian, to a young person today about this? Whoops, I see my producer's arm. What? Hold on, everybody.
Carla down. No, you got to go up to the top right.
Oh, okay. I got to go to the top right.
No. Starred below. Starred.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
I get so carried away, everybody, with
top one above that. There we go.
No, I get so carried away, everybody, with talking about everything that I just keep going. Now, where would you like me to go? Back to this one?
That's good.
Oh, I just leave it?
Well, no, I mean, you want to leave it up. Whatever you want.
I want to see the comments that are coming.
Oh, yeah.
So let me go to live. Okay. All right, everybody, I'm back. I want us to really think about the kids, because we have seen nothing yet. We have to pray 35 days out. Remember, I never tell you at the Warriors how to vote. I do tell you to look at policy actions and make up your own mind. We cannot allow what is going on, throwing this in our faces. And again, We have other issues we have to talk to the kids about. We have to support them no matter what. I post it. It's the saddest story. I urge all of you, go to our Facebook, go to our Twitter. It's Lynn's Warriors, very easy for everybody. And that is the story of Malia and Jack, two teenagers. Malia from a very vulnerable background, Jack from a pretty good middle class background, but how these two teens were brought together and the havoc that fentanyl weighed in on their lives. And I don't want to ruin the story for you because I want to give you a little homework, right? We have to educate ourselves about these things. We have to read. And what it did to destroy these two young people. What they're doing now, just as I sidetrack, and this is increasing, which I didn't even think about until law enforcement was filling me in. Kids are taking a piece of foil and they're crushing pills. Obviously, they're buying them, these illicit drugs. A lot of them come from online. Friends of theirs who bought them online or who dealing them in high school. And law enforcement knows all about this, and they're not shutting a lot of it down. That really is shocking to me. And they're crushing these pills in the foil and putting a cigarette lighter underneath and then inhaling these horrible noxious fumes and getting high. Now, the fumes from the fentanyl are killing kids. We have 22 American children we know about each day dying in America. That's basically a classroom, 22 kids, and dying from fentanyl. I think this should be top priority. This poison is not an overdose. Let's get our terms straight. It is the intentional poisoning of Americans. We are all the family, Kim says. Yes, and that's what we have to get back to, talk about. It's a tough thing to do today because of the way people think, the selfishness, the not really looking out for each other for the most part, looking the other way. But remember, you may look the other way, but if something happens to your child, you're going to be looking for help. So let us get in there and intervene and prevent new victims of all of this, if possible, and talk to, I'm telling you, 9-year-olds know about fentanyl. They are so much smarter than we give them credit for, these kids. They are looking, when we have our focus groups, they look towards structure. Eventually, when you break them down and they come around and they're admitting the truth, they're looking for structure. They're looking for direction from us. They're looking for us to, rein them in. The older teens, thank goodness, a lot of them are realizing that these devices have been detrimental to them. And they want to get back to stories they heard about, kids going to the movies, kids hanging out, just groups like that. So the pendulum is slightly, we're seeing swing back, which is a good thing. John Ballgame, children, like adults, are all very unique and quite different. Yes, but we have to all start coming together. This is our world we live in right now, all of these tough issues, and we have to open up the conversation. And you may not have any children, but you have a sister or a brother who has children. You might be a grandparent. A neighbor has a child. Somehow, some way, we know somebody with a child, and we have to open the conversation up. Well, I'm concerned about the Halloween trick-or-treating. Faye, don't jump ahead. We got to focus on one thing at a time. But a lot of kids, they do, well, here in the New York area, that'd be Connecticut and New Jersey, they do a lot of that for safety issues. They do a lot of, you meet in a parking lot, you open your trunks, this trunk Halloween treating type thing. A lot of the apartment buildings in New York have it designated, you sign up. There is more safety. I don't know how we survived as kids walking what seems like now miles in costumes, going to strangers' homes in New Jersey, being invited in lots of times into the dining room. They had the jack-o'-lanterns. We didn't even hesitate as kids. We went in. How lucky were we, right? Or adults would say, do a trick for me to get your treat. And we'd do a little something. Or let us, come in and let us see your costumes. And these were total strangers. We didn't have parents with us. Very lucky. So the kids, there's lots of Halloween stuff. That's kind of the least of our concerns. We can make it fun for kids and keep it safe. Um, Even do Halloweens, in the home, little parties, porch parties, backyard parties. Go in that group around the block, check the candy, throw away anything unwrapped. But we can still have fun. We've got to now think about this trafficking. We've got to think about the education. All of our warriors in New Jersey have been fighting all day. I've been on top of this one by text with the books. We have never had a book banning. Let's get the terms right again. We have had questions asked and concerns about books being presented in the libraries and classrooms. We don't need blatant, everybody. uh, education, I'll leave it like that for the YouTube, being taught to fifth graders with these vile diagrams and dialogue when that needs to come from the home, or the home needs to be included more in the selection of books. And I'll leave that for everybody to research what's going on in New Jersey. A lot of our warriors were down today in Trenton fighting this new bill, giving librarians, this is part of it, like mass immunity for being responsible for putting these books in the libraries and in the school libraries. And that whole thing is a mess that never went away. A couple of years ago, remember, we were talking all about it, kind of gone away. But we can't have tables of these books that are facing, first, second, third, fourth, fifth graders. Of course, they're going to look or want to know more, or upside down. So let's go through the comments. I know it's been a long day for a lot of you. I think we've covered everything I want to cover for today. I've got an important luncheon on Wednesday with the UN Rapporteur, Special Rapporteur, Reem Assalem. And the only reason I am attending this, I've been invited, we're part of the New Yorkers for the Equality Model, is that she's going against everything the UN stands for, and putting out that there is violence against women and girls. We cannot be promoting sex work because the UN is this is my opinion, a criminal organization doing nothing for anybody, a money-making operation that frankly disrupted our lives. Today was the last official day of the UNGA, the UN General Assembly. They have all left town. They come here to eat. They come here to shop and go to places like Tiffany's and buy jewelry. And they parade around town. They hold up the traffic. It's a tremendous burden on our law enforcement, and they don't get anything done. But I'll be going to the luncheon because this woman has written a terrific report going against, she's kind of a third party working outside of the UN, and presented to them. And I can't wait to hear her speak. And hopefully we'll have her on the Warriors soon to speak with her and interview her a little bit more in depth so you can hear more from her. I'm looking forward to that. But let's end the night with, we've got to keep talking about border issues. But for you in your home, it is the fentanyl. That is the number one thing right now. I am scared when kids can buy drugs with 2 clicks on Snapchat. And now I'm learning they crush it up and put it in the foil, and they're breathing in the fumes. And on this note also, I want to make you aware of something called galaxy gas. Have you heard of that one? Anybody? RFK, let me look at some of these comments. Kim says, RFK, what's that Congress talking about the bad food along with Jordan B. Peterson? Listen, this is part of everything as well. We do have to talk about the bad food. We do have to talk about the preservatives, the processed food. Why is everybody so sick? A lot of what we allow in the United States in our foods and drinks is not allowed in other countries, but we allow it here. Look at the obesity we have in children. I mean, don't you remember? I mean, I'm dating myself maybe. Maybe you're all a lot younger than I am. I rarely, growing up in New Jersey and being in New York a lot, even as a kid, saw obese people. Now think about it. maybe somebody's grandmother or great aunt or something was a little overweight. But the obese for me was when I looked at, a rerun of Jackie Gleason on The Honeymooners. But now I'm seeing little kids, not just 10 pounds overweight, but like obese. And if you walk around Times Square where you see all the tourists, such obesity. Unbelievable. So we do have to include as part of our health, talk about fentanyl, talk about big tech and the dangerous algorithms, talk about the food and be careful what we put in our bodies. John says, I asked my close friend if he was talking to his kids about what they are teaching in Colorado, and he, John, you tried though. That's a warrior's move. You go on to the next person and try with them. Kim says, I talked to my sister in Florida and my brother in Maine. They really don't want to hear any of this. Okay, Kim, you tried also. But I told them they all have girls. Well, they'll want to talk to you when something happens. When one of those girls meets a predator, a stranger online, and she thinks that perhaps is another teenage boy or her equivalent, a peer, and she's getting love bombed, as they say. And then she goes out and attempts perhaps to meet one of these predators who's really not a 15-year-old boy, but is a guy named Biff who is 60 and is going to traffic her. You keep going. Hillbilly says 100. Mrs. L. CR says that's the truth. Money laundering, absolutely. UN is worthless, absolutely. I keep getting invited to UN events. I don't go, but I will go to hear this woman because I support her 100%. We at the Warriors do. Excellent when you buck the trend, go against what, the UN is saying girls and women should be sex workers in their countries if they have no other choice. No, we just don't accept that. We just don't accept talking like that. And we don't even use the words sex workers. We don't believe sex is work, work is sex. And we never, ever, they have also called in a lot of their papers, they put out articles at the UN, they've referred to children as child prostitutes. They've walked some of that back recently, but still it's there. As the media always says, child prostitutes. A child cannot consent. A child is not a prostitute. I've even had this argument with lawyers who proclaim they're working to help sex trafficking victims, and they say, let's call them what they are, they're prostitutes. A child, no, cannot consent. Force, fraud, or coercion, they are sex trafficked. We'll leave it at that. Kim says 70% of a child's food is sugar. A lot going on. Kim says 36% of our children have cancer from food. Well, people are getting cancer from something, because I just heard we had another Broadway actor, Gavin Creel, very well known in the Broadway community. He died of brain cancer. Also, an associate of ours was telling me in the healthcare field, two of her associates in their 30s, also brain cancer. And these cases are very quick. For instance, diagnosed in July, dead in September. Another one diagnosed in July, Gavin Creel died today. This is very aggressive. Faye says, usually obese people are very docile. Is someone trying to fatten us up for a reason? Well, if we know all this information, we need to share it with other people. I don't know what their reason would be, except to make us complacent and not go out and vote in 35 days or thereabouts. So I leave all of you with thank you for listening. Please support, subscribe to the Warriors. Bag Biz, thank you for all you have done for us and for our most vulnerable. Let's go through the list of thanking everybody. Listen, you can share a tweet, you can share a Facebook, you can purchase a copy of Vegas Concierge. The link will be in this, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It is the realistic look at sex trafficking in America, not this glossed up Hollywood portrayal that we're given. It is down to the guts of what sex trafficking is. And I urge all of you to read it if you want to know more, and support, because it supports our survivors, right? So let me go through this. I want to thank Laurie Lewis, always such a warrior. CR with your Gifts of membership, so important. There's Lori again. Carla, the cooking CEO. Thank you for joining as a member and gifting memberships. You know, our goal at the Warriors is, if we help, because it's so ugly and overwhelming, if we help one person, child, we do one thing a day, then we are successful. And all of you, by participating tonight, have done your one thing. So thank you. You should feel good about it. I want to remind everybody that our hashtag is community creates change. Thank you. Thank you for listening and caring about this subject matter. We need to keep on it, keep on the fentanyl, keep on the missing unaccompanied minors, take care of our own kids. We have to keep going. So buckle up, everybody. It's the tip of the iceberg. Things are only going to get worse. Take care of each other, hug each other, and always, always, always wake up every day and say to yourself, I'm going to be a warrior today. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk soon.